Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? Hopefully I won't put you guys to sleep because I know you just ate. And usually after lunch, it's nappy time. But hopefully you guys will be okay. Um, so you guys are in here to see the Smart Tool or Smart Form presentation. Is that correct? All right, good. Just want to make sure you guys are in the right area. My name is Jorge Plascencia. I usually go by George, but it is really Jorge. Some people from the Midwest say Jorge. Hence, I always say George, but it really is Jorge. Okay, just an FYI. So today I got about maybe 20, 15 minutes to give you kind of a high-level overview on the LaserApp Smart Tool. We've actually had the Smart Tool technology here at LaserApp for quite some time. Unfortunately, back then, it was really difficult for you to let us know how to program a smart form. So we came out with this tool recently to make it easier for you guys to let us know what are your required fields. Back in the old days, what I call the old days, maybe last year, 2 years ago, you would send us a form, a hard copy, highlight it, and then let us know by those highlights what's your required registration types for those, which really made it difficult, cumbersome, because then you would have to go through every single form, fax it over to us, or scan it, and then send it back over to us. So hopefully with this new tool, it makes it a lot easier for a lot of you to be able to submit your required fields on a form. So I'm going to give you kind of some screenshots on the Smart Tool, and then I'm actually going to go into a little demo on it. And once you see it, it's going to be really easy to use. You don't have to worry about how much of a learning curve you're going to have to get into it. It's really a really user-friendly tool to be able to get set up within LaserApp. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Let me just give you a little bit of background on LaserApp. Obviously, a lot of you know we've been in business since 1995. We have had over 110 users of our platform, of our desktop version of LaserApp. We currently work with about 31,000 firms, 350 independent broker-dealers, and so far as I know, we're the #1 form solution in the financial industries area. You guys already knew that, right? Yeah. Yeah, good. So what is the LaserApp Smart Tool? We've been talking a lot about it. Some people have actually showed you a little bit of some highlights from it. Robert talked about it a little bit. I know Chris talked a little bit about it as well, and even Blake when he did his presentation earlier. But the Smart Tool is really a tool within LaserApp that allows you to program your own forms within LaserApp. Okay? It allows you to create required fields within a form, and it's really simple and easy to use. We'll get into what it's not, because some people want it to do a lot more. But for now, it's really to help you get your required fields into a form that you want to have submitted to LaserApp. So how does it work? It works with our desktop version of LaserApp, our enterprise version. Okay? It's a plugin that's added to the desktop. Okay? So you may not have it now. If you need it, you got to let us know, hey, I want to get set up with this. So it's a plugin that gets added to your back office copy of LaserApp. Okay? It allows you to open up a form within the LaserApp library. Once you open up that form, you can assign required fields by registration type to that form. Okay? Another good thing about the Smart Tool is that once the form is programmed, you have the ability of then submitting that form to us directly through our stats system. Does everybody know what stats stands for? Or everybody's been hearing that word, but you probably don't even know what it stands for. It stands for Sponsor Tracking and Ticketing System. So that's what stats is. I'm sure Blake probably talked about that earlier, but just in case you guys are wondering why we call it stats, that's why it's called stats. Okay. One thing you could do too is you can create a form. One thing I gotta make sure everybody understands, in order for you to be able to have a smart form programmed in the system, it has to be in the LaserApp library to begin with. If it's a new form and you want it smart, we can't do it yet. You have to send it to us so we program it, put it in the library. Once it's in the library, then we can go ahead and program it into the system, because then that allows you to open it up with LaserApp Enterprise and then set up the required fields within the system. Okay. I'm going to be showing you a demo shortly. Hopefully we'll have enough time to go over that and answer any questions you guys might have on that. So here's this little screenshot of what this looks like before I get into the demo itself. So within LaserApp itself, for the people in the back, my D and C students back there, up here, there is a little button here that's going to be appearing within your back office copy of LaserWrap. Okay, right now you may not have that in there. Okay, so if you have a back office copy and you say, hey George, I never saw that, it's because you haven't been set up with it. So once we set it up and you have a form that you want to create, you hit this button, it'll ask you, hey, you want to go into the smart form configuration? You're going to say yes. And what that does, it makes your fields here blue. So these are all the fields within your form. Okay, this lets you know that you are in the smart form configuration mode. Okay, this is where you're going to go in here and say, what are my required fields? Okay, if you need to do multiple fields, you can just hit the control key and then hit over every field that you want. And then you're going to basically say, what are my registration types? So here you go, these are all my registration types. Once you've programmed that, the fields are going to turn green. This lets you know that these are already programmed. These are required fields now. Okay? You can also put a little message in here. So right now I didn't write anything in the screenshot, but you can put on here, hey, dude, you forgot this. You can make it customized to whatever you guys want it. Or hey, excuse me, you missed this required item. Whatever you guys want to make it say, you guys can make it say that within here too. Okay? Everybody understand that so far so good? It's pretty easy, right? Once the form has been programmed, for those of you who are not familiar with the smart tool and a smart form, what happens is I, as an end user, when I go and print a form out or I'm going to go save a form, in the desktop version, what will happen is if I missed a required field, it's going to give me this message here, hey, you missed something. Okay, this is the generic default. Potentially required field is missing. You could change that again to say, hey, dude, you missed this. Okay, but once you program the form, it's going to say, hey, a little box is going to light up. See how right here has BD confirmation and rep is lighted and highlighted in red? This is what they're going to see. Okay, now they're still going to get the option of saying, okay, I want to skip it all, or I want to skip now, or whatever. We don't want to impede the rep from doing business. Okay, so we don't do a hard stop on it. It basically lets them know you missed something that's potentially required. Take a look at this. If you need to come back to it later, you can. Okay, so this is the message they're going to be getting. Any questions on this part so far, guys? No? Okay. Yes?
Can the rep set it up so that they don't see that pop up every time?
No, if it's a required field, it's always going to pop up that way. Okay. Now, let me go back here just real quick. So this is the way it looks like in the desktop version, okay? On the Anywhere version of LaserWrap, the fields will appear highlighted when the form comes up already. So on Anywhere, it'll let them know, hey, all these fields here are required already. So on the desktop, when they go to print or save, it'll warn them then. On the Anywhere version, it'll let them know what's a required field. If they still didn't highlight that, then they'll get the message saying, hey, you missed something. But on the Anywhere version, it'll let them know up front, these are all my required fields. Okay? Any questions on this part? They have to type something in there, okay? So, yeah, they have to type something in there. Again, they have the ability of skipping it or not. Now, what we do is we basically say you need data in here. Okay, so for example, if you have a date of birth or something, they have to type something in there, okay? So they just have to fill it out. So if they type mumbo jumbo in there, I mean, LaserWrap will still say it's got data in it. So that's where we get into what it is and what it's not, okay? So just want to make sure you guys understand that. Okay, so some of the benefits, of course, everybody's been talking about reducing the not in good order cost. I think you guys are very aware of what it costs you guys when a field is missing or something is incorrect on a form. You know, having required fields as part of, I guess, the data and everything that you're getting back makes it very important. So reducing not in good order is really the main benefit of having your forms, you know, programmed to a smart form. Reducing pain for your reps because they don't have to have something, you know, go back to the customer and saying, hey, I missed something, I'm sorry, let's get the paperwork started again. You definitely don't want to do that. It helps to improve your user experience with your reps out in the field because they know what you need from them. They don't have to guess or, you know, call you guys and say, I don't know what I need here. Helps to improve the workflow for you guys, and it improves the overall process for your reps out in the field. Who can use the smart tool? Okay. Basically, anybody who has or owns a form in LaserApp can use a smart tool. Okay. What I mean by that is if you're a broker dealer and you have your forms on LaserApp, you can use a smart tool. If you're a vendor who is under the securities tab and have your securities form in the LaserApp, you can use a smart tool. Annuity sponsors, REITs, clearing firm forms, they have the ability of being able to access a smart tool. Okay. Now, only the owners of the forms can program a smart form. You cannot be a broker dealer and say, I want to program this American Funds app, because you're not the owner of the form. The only people that get to do that are the owners of the form. Okay? So I just want to make sure everybody understands that. You don't go back to the office and say, hey, I want to program this American Funds app, and Stats said I couldn't do it. Well, because you don't own the form. So you have to be the owner of the form to be able to do that. We don't want to tell someone what's required and you're not even the owner of the form, so you might have issues come up with that. So just want to make sure everybody understands that. Any questions on that, guys? Yeah? Okay. So again, the reasons you'd want to use this, obviously to reduce the not in good order, make sure all your required fields are set up within your forms. One of the main things of using the smart tool as well is that it helps to reduce your programming costs for LaserApp. So, and I'll get into the costs in a little bit as well. Obviously eliminate some inefficiencies when you get forms submitted with required data missing is a big deal too. But one of the main things, like I said, is to help drive your costs down, because now you're helping us program the forms in the way you want it, so that it actually helps us to reduce the programming cost involved when we do a smart form. Okay, the pricing. So before the smart tool, I think programming a smart form would probably run you around $50. Is that right, Candace? Somewhere around there? Somewhere around $50 to program a smart form. Normally, our typical cost to program any form is around $20 per fillable page. If you want added logic of a required or smart form, maybe around $50 to program it. With the smart tool now, and if you're using this, it's basically going to cost you $30 now to program it. Okay. The annual fee for the smart tool itself is usually around $999. It's waived for the first year, so if you guys want to get set up with that, we'll waive the cost. Okay. In order to get set up with that, all we really need for you is to let us know, or let your account manager know that that's something that you want to be able to access. We basically have to create an addendum to the agreement to let you know that, so that we know that you're using the smart tool. That's the way you're going to submit your forms through us, and that we know, hey, going forward, now you're going to pay $30 per page. Okay. You get a free back office copy. If you don't have a back office copy of LaserApp, we'll set you up. If you have your forms within the system, we'll set you up with the back office copy, so that way you guys can have access to the smart tool. Also, if you're using the smart tool and you have updates, and maybe you updated this form, you programmed it already, with the smart tool, you don't have to redo the whole thing. If it's a minor update, you can use a lot of the same technology that you did already with the required fields. Will stay on the form, with the new one when you get the update. So now let me see if I can just show you guys a little brief demo on this and kind of give you a high-level overview. I got about 5 minutes in here. But this is my my desktop version of LaserApp. Okay, I've opened it up. And what I did, let me just close my form out just so I can give you a really high level. So this is what the desktop version of LaserApp looks like. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with this. So let's say I want to fill out a form, or I want to make a form, a smart form. All I have to do is go under my form section, get the form that I want. And again, this is why I say the form has got to be programmed into the system first. Once it's programmed, then you could go in here and you could get the form that you want. So here's the form I want to program. This is my form, and I want to make this into a smart form. We've enabled it for you to get your smart configuration here. And what it looks like a kind of like a paper with glasses on it. And this is the smart tool here. Okay, once you click on this, it's going to ask you if you want to enter the smart form configuration. You say yes. And now it's going to tell you, if you want multiple elements of the control key, and then so on. You say, yes, I want to do this. Now you can go in here and click on the fields that you want. So if I want, for example, account owner, I'm going to click on it. I'm going to say account owner is required for individual registration. I'm going to put my message here. I want to customize it. Dude, you missed exclamation point. You hit OK. Okay. since I'm running out of time, I'm not going to go through every field, but you get the gist of it. Once I program that field, it's going to turn green. Okay? Let's say I'm done. I like it. I want to submit this. You go back to your glasses. You save the configuration. It's telling you want to leave the mode. You say yes. And now what you do is you go back to the glasses again. And now you go attach to configure stats. Okay? This will then attach this form. It'll let you submit it over to our stats system. Okay? Where you can say, okay, here's my, whatever. I don't have to set up for my password, but you could go put your comments in here. You can submit the form directly to us. That's going to go directly to our forms department. Well, they get the form, see the programming that you did to it, get it, program it, send you a message back or a ticket back, letting you know, hey, we got it. It'll post the next amount of days for you guys. That's as simple as it is to use a smart tool. It's not very difficult. Doesn't take a whole lot of learning to do it. It's just basically what I just did right now. How much time do I got left, Manuel? 1 minute? All right, so any questions, comments?
So for our existing users that already have Enterprise, after this all goes through, are the tickets closed out? How do they know?
They'll get an update to your form. So they'll get an update.
So each of the forms, they'll get an update.
Right, they'll get an update, let them know, hey, there's an update for your new account form, for example. Okay. Download it, they download it. Once they download it, now they're gonna see, hey, it might look the same because you didn't do nothing to it, but when they go to print or save it, they're going to get that message that says you missed something on there. Krista? Good question. So to program the forms into a smart form, you use the desktop version, but once you program a form here, it goes to Laser App Anywhere and Enterprise. So there's nothing extra you have to do. So if you're using both platforms, it'll update the form and it'll have the smart programming on it. Good point. Yeah. So that's Rob. Everybody, that's our CTO. He's here to make sure I'm not lying about stuff. So on the Anywhere platform, it's actually kind of cool because you as an admin, there's two components to the admin. Tomorrow I'm going to give a presentation on the Anywhere platform. But on the Anywhere platform, there's an admin component that allows you guys to pretty much say, you can't print this form or you can't save this form unless you fill out all the required fields on that. So that's not something that's available on the desktop, but on Anywhere, if you want to make sure everything's filled out, you have the ability of hard enforcing that so that your reps on the field have to fill out every required item.
But if there are multiple, you've got 6 boxes, that's pick 3, you can't program.
Right now, it's only 1 box. So on radial boxes, you can only do 1 box. You can't do multiples. So if it's like a radial section that gives you the ability of choosing 2, you can't program those for smart form functionality. It's only like male or female, yes or no? Okay, yeah, or something like that. You know what I'm saying, right? Any other questions, comments? No, so that's the smart tool, guys. That's pretty easy to use, yeah.
So is one of the features that we want to look for, I don't know whether it's affiliated with SmartTool or some other ancillary function, is how do I make sure form field names remain the same across the revisions of the forms? So like the form that you're laying out, if the name field is called something, how do I make sure the next revision of the form I can keep the name field the same?
So that's a little bit different. That's probably going into another aspect of the smart tool. So let me open that up again. Let me just clear this up.
If this is, we don't have time to talk about it, I can have an offline.
I can give you like a really high level really quick on this. So within the smart tool, along with using this to program your required fields, one of the things you could do too is there's a section here for alternative field name optional. So if you look at the screen right here, this is where you can go to set up your alt field names. So right now in Laser App, we give them our own naming conventions, right? Like IDX 1, 2, 3, whatever. So with this alt field, it allows you to give your own naming conventions to those forms. Then you submit it just like you did with the ticketing system I did right now. but that way we program the form with your naming conventions. So, and I believe it'll stay the same unless there's a major update. Is that correct, guys? Programming guys?
Unless there's such a major change that the form has to basically be reprogrammed. So if you add another page, you add a couple fields, those all field names will still stay on the form. But if you put the last page first, the first page last, then you may have to rename the fields. Okay, no, that's excellent because what we auto-populate some of this data, so we need to have the ability to be able to map it all the time. First name field from my system goes onto the name field on the form, and with the revisions of the form, what we go through is that have to recreate that mapping every time, and this will prevent us from having to do that, right? So the first name field we actually program for you. That's what our common data model does. We actually take all the work out of it, so you don't have to. But if it's something that doesn't appear in our common data model, then the all field names allow you to extend that.
Yeah, so
Export them from an existing PDF, right?
Yeah.
If you have a PDF that it originally came from, you can open that PDF and that combo box will be filled with the original name to make it easier to select from.
Oh, I see, got it. Right.
yeah, so this is a good tool for that, or also if you're trying to get data back from LaserApp or LaserApp Anywhere, and you want to have your own naming convention added to the XML that we send back, this will allow you guys to be able to do that. It's a little bit more technical, but just so you guys know, that's an option. So if you guys are trying to get your own field names on the forms, this is what you would use to be able to do that. Any other questions, comments? How about words of abuse? Nothing? No? All right. All right. Well, I guess that's it, guys. I'll let you guys go to your next session. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it.